solving a linear inequality, problem type 1. So if you've seen any of my inequality videos, you've seen this statement before. I'm going to be doing a little bit more than Alex asks you for in these problems to help prepare you for the exam, so you can read my little note over here. All right, so this is just everything you've done, but maybe one step more. This might be the first time you've seen variables on both sides of an inequality, but we're really just doing the same thing that you would have done when you solved equations back on test 1 material. So we have negative 3x minus 14 is greater than or equal to 3x plus 16. I personally like to put my variables on the left-hand side. So I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides. That will get rid of this x over here. It's really tempting to want to think that the x's cancel here because it kind of looks like they do, but really you have negative 3 minus 3, and that's going to give you negative 6. So you have negative 6x minus 14 greater than or equal to 16. Then you want to get rid of the constant over here so that the negative 6x can be alone. Negative 6x is greater than or equal to 16 plus 14 is 30. Now to get x alone, we have to divide both sides by negative 6. But when you divide both sides by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality. And that's because I divided by a negative number. So we have x. I'm flipping the direction, so it's no longer pointed to the right, it's pointing towards the left. 30 divided by negative 6 is negative 5. So x is less than or equal to negative 5 is the answer Alex is looking for. As a reminder before I go to do my number line, if you have an underline on your inequality, this will turn to a closed circle on the number line and brackets and interval notation. If there's no underline, that will be an open circle on the number line, and it'll be parentheses in interval notation. So I'm going to plot negative 5 right here wherever I want. And I have an underline in my original inequality, so I'm doing a closed circle. The less than direction is this direction here. My screen just moved a little there. So reading the number line from the left to the right, reading the shaded part, we start at negative infinity, and infinities always get parentheses, and it goes up to negative 5, who gets a bracket because we had a closed circle on the number line. And that's my interval notation answer. Let's go ahead and work on another one. We have 4u plus 2 is greater than 30 minus 3u. Same process, right? We want to put our variables on the left, so I'm going to add 3u to both sides. That will cancel those 3u's on the right. 4u plus 3u is 7u. The plus 2 comes down, greater than 30. Then to get the 7u alone, I'm subtracting 2 on both sides. So I have 7u is greater than 28. To get the u by itself, I'm dividing by 7. I do not need to flip anything because I divided by a positive number here. The u's the 7's cancel. 28 divided by 7 is 4, so I have u is greater than 4 as my answer. It's my inequality answer. If I plot 4 here on my number line, I'm doing an open circle because there's no underline. Greater than will be this direction here. Reading the highlighting from left to right, we start at 4, who gets a parenthesis, and then infinities will always have parentheses, and that's my interval notation answer. All right, let's go ahead and just do one last one for practice. This one looks a little different because the 8x is over here, so it's 5 minus 8x, but it's the same process. We're going to move this negative 6x to the other side by adding 6x to both sides, and then we're going to move the 5 to the right side by subtracting 5 on both sides. So I'm going to start with adding 6x, canceling these guys. Negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2, so we have 5 minus 2x is less than 11. Now I'm subtracting 5 on both sides. That will cancel these. the negative 2x comes down. 11 minus 5 is 6. We have negative 2x is less than 6. To get rid of the coefficient on x, I need to divide both sides by negative 2. But when you divide by a negative, you do need to flip your inequality. It was pointed towards the left. Now it's going to point towards the right. Those negative 2's cancel. I have x is greater than. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. So x is greater than negative 3 is your answer here. Plotting negative 3 on a number line. We have no underline, so we are going to put an open circle. Greater than is this direction here. So there's my number line answer. For my interval notation answer, we start the shading at negative 3. It gets a parenthesis because it's an open circle, and then it goes all the way off to infinity. And that's that on this one. So keep on working at this. You're doing a great job.